Turn on my music first. Alright. Da, 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 da. Okay. Well, my computer will always sound like it's gonna explode. Why? Oh shit. Whoops. I was like, why is my thing not opening? I forgot to plug in my Right, hold on. Give me a second real quick. I forgot to plug in my drawing pad or drawing tablet to the laptop. I was wondering why it wasn't working. It's because I brought it outside today. So I need to print stuff at school, so I had to unplug it, obviously. Anyways. Yeah, okay. Cool. My drawing tablet's back. Okay. Back online. Anyways, day 27. Guys, I'm so close to being freed. You don't know how happy this is making me. Okay. Alright. I'm so close to being freed. Okay, well, anyways. Today's theme is denim, which would be interesting. Also, if I sound like I'm dead, just know that I did just, like, wake up. Again. So I took a nap after dinner, and then I am the EP at the moment, but it's okay. That's okay, that's normal. Okay, well, I think for denim, let's just do, what class did I do yesterday? Oh, I did, I'm not gonna remember what I draw. I draw so much, I'm just like, nothing clicks in my head anymore, I'm just blank. Okay. Well. Hello. How is it everyone doing? There's not much everyone in this, but it's okay. Hi. I'm so EP. It's okay. Also, why am I floating like that? Hold on. Pew. I'm not slouching, I swear. Meow. Ah, I see. Of course. I don't know, can you guys see what I'm drawing? Okay, well, hopefully you can. Okay. No, I don't like that pose. Oh, sorry. Today's theme is denim. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm like just waking up, so like excuse my slow reactions. Denim is just like jeans. It's technically what I just called the fabric for jeans, I think. Yeah, it's just what the fabric in like jeans and stuff are called. So jeans is like more of an informal name for it. But yeah. Oh god, personally, I hate wearing denim. Like any type of jean fabric makes me want to like rip my skin off. I hate it. It's just always uncomfortable for me, but it's okay. Anyways, do we like how my illustration tabs are slowly growing? It's okay. I'll finish them later. Oh my god, I hate group projects, dude. I have this one group project, but like there's 2 people in my group who are just okay, it's a 4-person group, by the way. 2 of them have done literally nothing for this assignment. Me and the other person has done like literally everything else. And it's so annoying. So I'm like I wouldn't I just wanted to finish my stupid homework. College has so many incidents happening. Girl, been there, done that. My college, like, I think like everybody hates it. Like, unironically. Yeah. Like, hold on. Let me check where it is. I genuinely don't think they did anything. Let me just check my Google Slides real quick. Yeah, so we have to make a presentation, but people just didn't do anything, and it's really annoying. But it's okay. It's okay. Well, now one more person made progress in it. So now we're just waiting on this one guy who has just not responded at all. So, and for context, it is due at 9. Well, technically it was due last Thursday, but you know, they didn't do it. So the teacher's like, okay, well, now it's due this when, or I guess tomorrow, because my class is like literally just tomorrow. Same. Ours is like partially a presentation, but we also have to like make art and shit. And I swear to God, I'm gonna have to hunt down some of these motherfuckers. Oh, I hate group projects. I'm like, they're the worst. They're truly just the worst. I don't like this hand being up. It's just boring. Well, actually, technically speaking, this is much more of a boring basic pose. However, I could give less fucks. Hold on, I need to ping this one guy to do his portion of the work after I'm done this stream. But for now, I'm okay with the other one doing their work. I need to ping the other 2 to, at the very least, write down what they have into the slides. I don't mind reformatting and stuff. I just need them to, like, do it. Yeah, that's valid. A lot of my classes, they're doing, like, kind of midtermy things right now. Because the thing is, we don't really have, like, official midterms most of the time, I think. So it's usually just, like, the project we do in the middle of the semester that we consider as the midterm, like, a bigger project. But for some reason, instead of doing it in the last few weeks, it's, like, all due this week for some reason, and it's really annoying. So if I sound dead, just know that I am, in fact, very much dying. But it is okay. I'm gonna take inspiration off of the baddies on Xiaohongshu. But I know what's that? Anyway. Because I'm not a millennial, I will not be advocating for skinny jeans. Or whatever they do. Are doing. Are these considered low rise? I'm not 100% sure. I want like these like flared jeans. But I feel like I've already done a flared jean, so I'm like, should I do like more oh, a jean skirt could be cute. That is true. Like, imagine being old and shit. That's crazy. Could not relate. Yeah, definitely not. Being old, never something that I have to deal with. As we all know, because I'm very much not a millennial and shit. But you know what? I still think better to be a millennial than whatever the fuck the one below Gen Z, Gen Alphas or whatever the fuck they are. Those creatures. Oh, I'm actually gonna kill myself. No way. Oh well. It's okay. I'm going to pretend like I didn't see that and secretly raise prices. Kidding. Technically speaking, just because denim is technically just like a material, so I don't think it actually matters the type of clothes I make, as long as I make it out of denim, or at least draw it out of denim. It'll look weird because it's like a very stiff fabric, so I can't do too much like little frills and stuff like that. Because if you did have denim, the only way you would actually be able to achieve like those like kind of fluffier frilled type of texture is if you had like, you know, the ripped jean effect, that type of look. But yeah. So I gotta at the very least keep it realistic in terms of how the fabric would kind of fall. But obviously, since these are very, very simple drawings, it don't matter too much, but I wanna keep the design somewhat fun though, so I am adding like some zippers and stuff to it for aesthetic purposes. But yeah, if I forced a poor fashion major to try and make this in real life, I think I would be 6 feet under via sewing machine. Yeah. Anyways. Wow. So many songs added. Oh fuck, what the fuck? Sorry. Yeah, I'll just skip over to your song. Hmm. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, well. It's okay. It's okay. We've all been there. Well, not necessarily with Good Kid, but you know what I mean. I have an automatic response to put on the hat whenever I hear that sound. I think this is the one that you want. Meow meow. Yippee! Okay, well. Anyways. I've acquired a mustache. What's a booster pack? What's a booster pack? Huh. Interesting. What can you do with it? I mean, like, other than throw tomatoes at me. What does this do? I'm Googling it. Ah! Okay, so you get a bunch of new... I guess you just get a bunch of tomatoes to throw at me? Is that what this is? Interesting. Well, I guess I just get more things thrown at me. That's fine. That is a-okay for me. The fuck? I feel like I should draw shorter skirts for once. I'm just like so not used to wearing them that I don't know how they look on a body. Cause usually a lot of the times when I draw stuff, it's like things that I have worn to some extent, or like I can at the very least compare it to something that I have worn before. But like short skirts is just not something I'm used to. Like flared out sleeves, I love that shit. It's so comfortable, so I have like an idea of how like logically the physics of it would work. But like short skirts, I got nothing. Like I truly have nothing. No idea at all. And that is okay. My taste in clothing may be a little whack, but it's okay. Oh, also, I didn't tell y'all, but like yesterday one of my piercings fell out. So I was at some store anyways, and then I had to go today to like get it fixed because it was like one of the ones that was only like a little bit over a month old, so it's like damn, that sucked, but it's okay. I got it fixed in the end, and now I have my earring back. I also spent like an hour, maybe like 2 hours pretty much today just printing at the fucking printer at school because I need to print this one of my assignments, but because I'm in art classes and shit, we have to use specific printers, like specialty printers that we get. No, my ear piercing. My ear is still okay. I'm not turning into Vincent van Gogh. Or if you want to be pretentious, you can call him like the correct pronunciation of his last name, but I don't feel like it. But yeah, I made the cat thing. Yeah, ear piercing. Yeah. To be fair though, I only have like ear piercing. Well, no, I don't only have ear piercings. I have ear piercings and then I have a single eyebrow piercing, but it's like whatever. I feel like it's pretty normal. I might get more eventually if I feel like it, but for now, no. But yeah, that's why my model has the little piercings as well. It's not accurate to the ones that I have. Well, actually, kind of they are. Because on the left side, it's just the same side I have the arm at. I have the two top ones as well, and then the other ones I just have bottom. But yeah. I played the song in Project Sekai. I mean, why do I know songs like this? Why is this the way I recognize some songs? It's okay. It was a fun play in the game. I haven't played the game in so long though. I haven't had like time. By that I mean it's more I don't have time in the sense that I'm just unconscious all the time when I have a break, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I have that's why I pre-queued like 20 songs before you guys joined. So I should have enough songs for maybe an hour if I'm lucky. And the songs are like 3 minutes. However, I don't really trust myself, but we will see. We will cross the bridge when we get there. But I think we have enough songs for this stream. See, the thing is, I would add more of the songs that I listen to. The only issue is that a lot of the ones that I listen to on Spotify, you know how like some of them they automatically change into like the original like language that it was like published in. So, but you can't really like copy paste like the names of songs from Spotify. So I have a lot of songs that I can't read the names of. So I can't add them, and it's really annoying because I don't know the English name for it. I can't read the Thai or like the Chinese or Japanese name for it. So I'm just like kind of just staring like a fucking idiot. It's okay. Actually, I don't want to draw the top of this foot. Do I? Okay, fine, I'll draw it. Okay. I wish I was able to copy paste names of songs from Starbucks. Starbucks, what the fuck? Spotify. I'm stupid. Alright, have fun making the food. Anyways, y'all, I actually did make half decent. Okay, once again, the only thing I am able to cook properly that doesn't taste kind of strange is soup. Just soup. It's really tragic, but it's okay. Cause I made like the Chinese like herbal soup today, cause I like that shit. Tasted really good. But now I have like a bunch of dates and like shiitake mushrooms and shit. So I'm like I can probably and also like goji berries. So I feel like I can make like a sweet soup or something one day. But future problem, future me, right? Hold on, let me just get my ice water from the fridge real quick. I'm thirsty and I forgot to bring water before the stream started. My bad. Give me a second. Okay. Y'all, listen to this. It's so slay. It's just a bunch of ice particles in my water. It's great. There's a block of ice on the lid though, so that sucks. Whatever. Anyways, back to the drawing part. Ha 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 ha. Also, why are you not tracking me properly? Is it because I'm like too far? Is the light blocking my camera? Maybe. Actually. I have very strange lighting in this room, but it's okay. My eyes. Pat pat. Anyways. My room is like absurdly warm now. Cause I've turned on the heater when I go to sleep. I took a nap earlier. I'm gonna turn the heater down so I don't burn to death during the stream. It's at medium right now. I'm gonna turn it down to low, and then that should make it so I don't feel like death when I wake up in the morning. But it's okay. Anyways. You're reading? That's crazy. It's okay. It's okay. Milgram, I feel like it's okay. You know what? We will cross that bridge when we get there. I feel like a lot of people who are into shows that have really weirdly interesting plots, for some reason they just get dumber and dumber. Like, like the more like media literacy a show requires, for some reason the stupider the people in the fandom are sometimes. Um, it's kind of impressive at this point. Or maybe it's just more obvious in fandoms that don't need people to be like too aware of what they're watching. But I feel like generally speaking a lot of oh, add Yale. So tragic. Hello. Okay. Anyway, I was just saying that like I feel like for some reason a lot of the times if like a series requires people to like think more, somehow half the fans are always like misreading the whole story or only care about like how hot a character is or some shit. Yeah. And I'm like personally I'm not sure if it's because like usually it's like the pieces of media that are slightly harder to understand slash you need more than half a brain cell to if you're gonna like engage in it, um or if it's just like it's like more obvious because like everybody else is like so like thinking about the story and stuff and like doing more detailed breakdowns of it, so then the dumb ones who are just like, right, the people who are just like, oh yeah, this person should likes this, like, sorry, like for example in Alien Stage, people who are like, oh my god, Till still likes Mizzy or some shit piss me off. Because like have we learned nothing? Or like, when they're like, okay, well this character is not a lesbian because I said so, and I'm like, okay, well notice how they're very much depicted to be one throughout this whole series. Um, but yeah, truly it does. I don't actually think I've read the Milgram manga yet. Let me search it up. Yeah, I haven't read it yet. I will do that after I get away from this fan fiction reading spree that I'm on right now. Which again, like many other things that I am into, I cannot control. So I don't know when I will get to that Milgram manga, but I will get into it one day, I swear. Yeah, I feel like in the music videos we don't focus as much on S yet. Anymore? Not 100% sure how to explain that. But yeah, I also need to catch up on like the whole everythingness of Milgram later as well. But that's okay. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I need to check the manga. But then I also need to rewatch the whole entirety of whatever's going on in Milgram because I'm very out of loop right now. Mm. Oh, okay, that's bad. That's like maybe like an hour of reading. That's just like a short break series outside of the actual series that I read. That's not bad at all. Well, actually, technically it's a manga, so it might take, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's the fun part. I love when people do that. Um, I assume so because you're saying that it's mostly about S, so, or I guess more about S. I don't know. It's like I personally I love when shows and stuff have like different, like they use their different types of media for like different uses, if that makes any sense. Like I don't know, like sometimes I also just like enjoying like different endings for like different series, or for like the same series based off of like the type of medium it was created in. By this I mean I just really did not like the Yumeria Patissiere. Um, like I didn't like the second season of it. In the anime. And then I read the manga and I was like, ooh, the manga's actually much better. But I didn't realize the manga existed for some reason because I wasn't into reading mangas until like 2-3 years ago maybe. So also that. But I do prefer, I think, the ending. I mean, she ends up with the same guy anyways, but it's more like I prefer the love rival situation between the sweet spirit prince and Kashino, instead of the fucking American who's also the cousin of the guy who was who of the girl who was chasing after Kashino. Um, so in my opinion, much more interesting ending and not as weird to introduce a sweet spirit prince as opposed to a American to the show, because I like to believe that Americans do not exist as much as I physically can, but it's okay. Exactly. Well, yeah, they're mostly not real. The pose is kind of boring, but it's okay. I feel like generally speaking, I like to keep my faces really low on characters, which does also for some reason make them be perceived more as like a child. Which I mean, yeah, I get it, because children faces are much more squishy in proportions, but it's just kind of weird. Maybe that's why Kathy keeps saying that my style is very chibi-fied. Huh? That checks. Oh well, whatever. What is Hold on. Let me just double check my Inktober prompt list real quick. And you know what the next couple? Oh, okay. So 31 is Moon. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So I'll post 29 from 22 to 29, or sorry, 22 to 28 tomorrow on Instagram, because my Instagram post list is really weird. And then I'll post the rest of it once I get to 30, to the end of the month, and then I'll post my separate drawing at the end of the month as well. So, yeah. Because obviously I'm not insane enough just to leave y'all with my stupid ass Inktober drawing for the end of the month. since I like Halloween, so I like to do a separate drawing just for Halloween. But however, I don't think I will be streaming that because I'm already like partway through it. So hashtag surprise. Wow. Yeah, like literally it's up here somewhere. I'm debating if I should like make myself like a little witch hat for Halloween or some shit. However, that won't match with the drawing that I'm doing because it's not a witch. So, oh well. Maybe I'll just. I'll see how it turns out. I think I'll just try a couple of things on the live 2D on the V2 avatar, and then you can see if I like it or not. A lot of the times I don't like a lot of things that I draw, but it's okay. Oh, also, I'm gonna be out of the country at one point in December, for like a week, so I might not stream then. Um, but I don't think we'll cross that bridge when we get there, because I don't even know what week it is gonna be. But I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time because God forbid I forget my streaming schedule eventually. Anyways, and then I think at the end of November, my friends are coming over for Thanksgiving for that weekend. So they're gonna just be in my apartment. So I won't be streaming that weekend, but I might stream once they're gone / before they arrive for a little bit. So I might change my schedule from Tuesday, Friday to like, I don't know, maybe like Tuesday, Thursday or Tuesday, Wednesday that week. I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah. And then I think that should be it for streaming schedule stuff. But none of the issues are gonna be like a problem in the coming weeks, I hope. Or at least it shouldn't be. But anyways. Okay, well, let's go with that. And then wand. Cha-chang. Doodle. Nope. Ah. Inverse. God, I streamed so much this month. I'm actually dying. It's okay though. At least I'm consistent. I take my win. It's okay. Oh my god, I've been using the brush feature so much that I keep accidentally clicking B instead of P when drawing. It's okay. Also, I have debated if I should get a mic or something for streams, but we haven't decided yet. So I'm like, it's just because you guys can hear my like computer dying out right now. I don't know if the audio quality is the best, but meh. Whatever, I do this shit for fun anyways. We're going with a very genes are passed down from parent to offspring kind of color palette. I'm kidding. We're not doing that. I don't like that. We're not doing a genes are passed down from parent to offspring situation here. I don't wanna do that. I still find that hilarious. I still find that whole like situation like so fucking wild. Like truly the internet is an interesting place. Also, have y'all okay. I'm assuming not, but like okay, so first of all, anyways, have y'all been on Scum Villain Self-Saving System Twitter? No? Okay, thought so. But that shit's always the weirdest thing. Like, Scum Villain Self-Saving System. It's a BL, like, it's a Chinese BL book. Yeah, hold on. Let me type it out real quick in the chat. Scum Villain Self-Savings. Ah, fuck. Yeah, it's SVSSS. Anyways, so I feel like you're judging me for the name of it. Anyways, that shit is the weirdest thing you'll ever see. That fandom is so strange. I've read the books, by the way. So like I'm aware of what happened in the story, but like when I tell you, okay, so basically this book is like the predecessor to like Heaven Official's Blessing and what's the other one's called? And Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, or like MDZS and TGCF, those two, which are very popular danmeis, so Chinese BLs. But anyways, this one is like the neglected older child of the group. So they have no merch pretty much. They had like official stuff, like they had an animation at one point, and they had the books, and they basically don't have anything else, so they're very starved for content, right? So the things that they do online, because they're slowly losing their minds. So if you've ever seen the Skinzen trend at one point where like people would draw their like favorite characters as like skin creatures, it originated from them. Hold on. Let me please don't ban me for debatable nudity. Um, okay, here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. But when I tell you, this fandom is just whack as fuck sometimes, but it's also really entertaining. Okay, so at one point on Twitter, some motherfucker, this guy, posted this, and then everybody kept drawing the characters as like these skin creatures. And it became like a trend, and it's so weird. And then at one point they also started drawing like the love interest as um like a parasite and stuff. It was such a weird time to be on the internet. But as you can see, they're very starved for content, therefore insane. Um, and every time I see them on the TL, it's always like the weirdest shit that happens. Well, actually, I feel like this week's is kind of sane. But I'm on my Twitter because obviously I like my yaoi, no matter the language. Don't worry about it. Um, I consume yaoi of all shapes and sizes, except for Jinx. Fuck Jinx. Jinx slander will always be here. Anyways, um, but it makes it so that okay. Anyway, so this week I saw there's this one person who dressed up a cucumber as like the main character, and it was like a dancing cucumber because it was dancing to music and shit. And I was just like, what timeline are we living in? But also kind of expected. I feel like that's more of the normaler things that I've seen from that fandom, just making a cucumber dance on live stream and stuff. Um, as one of the characters, but it is such a weird fandom. Y'all should look into it and maybe make some content for them because they're starved and they're going insane every time. Um, very very much like a basement dwelling kind of fandom. Where is? Yeah, no. I know. He also gets trapped in a jar without his limbs. There's a lot that happens in the story. I feel like you're underestimating the bullshit that was going on in that story. Yeah. He gets turned into a cucumber. Yeah. That's why I think. Well, technically speaking, okay. So basically, the main plot of the story, I think, is that he gets transmigrated into this book that he fucking hates. Or I guess it's a web novel that he fucking hates so much. He's like the number one hater of it. He's beefing on forums and shit over this fucking book all the time. And then he died. And then he got transmigrated into the book, but also, the author is also in the book. So he's called Peerless Cucumber because, God forbid, people have, regular internet usernames. And I guess he tried not to die or whatever at one point, but he ended up getting a really obsessed disciple, who's also the love interest and shit. Who also ends up feeding him blood at one point. That part I remember. I don't remember a lot of what happens in these stories, because it's been a couple of years since I read it. But it's a strange story. But I do have the novels. But not with me right now. I would suggest I can just read out the novels, but I can't. Because I don't have it with me. Damn. All my novels are back in Canada. Because I don't have a bookshelf here. I will say, very entertaining story though. They're all kind of strange. But yeah, but MXTX is one of the bigger writers on Chinese BL online. So usually if you're getting into Chinese BL, most people start with that, with one of MXTX's work. or meat bun usually. But meat bun is, don't start with meat bun. I don't know why you would do that to yourself. In the sense that like that their work is so wow, interesting. But yeah. There's a webtoon for it? Oh shit. Oh, it's this person who drew it. I'm on a Discord server with them. Huh. Strange. I was like, is this, I don't know if this is official. I don't think it is. Is it? Okay, no, it's not official. Yeah, I'm like, I know the person who made the webtoon one. I'm on their Discord server. Just got bored at one point. But it's good to talk about anime on there. But yeah, wouldn't recommend getting anywhere near generally speaking anime Twitter, but also specifically Scum Villain Twitter. Oh, right. Yeah, because anime Twitter is kind of weird. In the sense that like so I tried reading this story called When You Gaze at the Cockroach Gazes at You, which is a BL. I didn't get far. I got into like a chapter of it and then just like was like, I don't know what I'm reading, and then I stopped. Because it was also like, I believe it was a modern AU, and I'm not into that. But you know, you get some strange things on that side of the internet. There's also stuff like there's also if you're ever on like yaoi Twitter, and then you're like, and then somebody says, oh, like the fish yaoi, it is most likely referring to what is it, like the tyrant's beloved pet fish or something. It was called something like that. Which is also a result of fucking anime Twitter. It's officially adapted into an English novel now, so deal with that as you will. Up until now, it's been a while since it's come out. However, I'm still unsure if he fucks the fish. I don't think he fucks the fish. I hope he doesn't fuck the fish. But there's always a chance. But yeah, it's basically, you know how fan fiction is fucking weird? It's that, but like consider that like these people are posting yaoi online on like these web novel forums. So they're very odd. Yeah. Odd is like the nicest way to put it. Anyways, I'm gonna continue drawing. Wow, funky. Sorry. I feel like I should start keeping track of a lot of like weird shit that happens in like stories that I read. Cause like I feel like I'm just so desensitized like half the stuff that happens in these stories now that I'm like, I don't know what's considered weird anymore. Like, I would be talking to people and I'm like, yeah, so there's canon and pregnant orb, and they're like, what the fuck? But I'm like, that's like a normal fact that like everybody knows, you know? But like, apparently they don't know. I like throwing orb under the bus if you can't tell. Um, but there's like a lot of stuff that I've read that's just strange. I usually do actually screenshot what I read when I'm reading them if I think it's kind of funny or just fucking weird. Um, Usually on the funny part though. The weird shit I just kind of given up on. Um, Hold on, no, that's Yahweh. Oh, like this one I read the other day, where like I think it was like 13 chapters in, the guy already wants to attic wife the other one, which I don't feel like is weird. It's just like a very normal part of stories, but you know, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Wow, they're progressing very fast. But technically, then again, they already know each other, so like whatever. It's the one where the mermaid gets put in a washing machine and then he ends up just spinning around because he accidentally turned on the washing machine. Yeah, anyways, normal stuff. The singer. I don't know what that emoji reaction is towards. Is it towards the attic wifing or is it towards the mermaid in a bath in a washing machine? Cuz it's part of the same story, so it's like whatever. Also, personally, I will always find it funny that on those like yaoi lists so when you're reading manga illegally, right, you want to see other people's recommendations because you know people do that and stuff. But like one of the ways to look at them on most sites is these things called lists, and a lot of yaoi lists they would always add my S class, the S class hunters that I raise or whatever the S classes that I raise. I don't know what the official name is. um Even though it is very much not yaoi, it's very much not tagged as yaoi at the very least. um there's subtext. um but it's kind of funny how like every time I always see it just like there, and I'm like, oh well, and there they are again. um but you know, I feel like that's pretty normal stuff. I'm just gonna use this brush to get these lines in because I don't want to draw the stitches myself. Wow, that's crazy. I feel like denim clothes have a very obvious stitching all the time, so that's why I'm adding them in. Mermaid in washing machine. Oh no, that's normal. Hey, don't worry about it. It's not like the vertical, like not the vertical washing machines like the ones in the laundromats. But like more like the sorry, not the horizontal ones, like not the ones where the window is on the side, but the window is like on the top, so it's like open, and then the mermaid just spins in there. It's okay. Well, actually, technically he's a merman, but that's not the point. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty normal. If I were a mermaid who saw a washing machine for the first time, I too would probably end up washing myself. Also, a lot of the times I do screenshot like parts of the stories that I find are cute, like the panels that I find cute because I'm like, ooh, I love this. So in Little Mushroom, I screenshotted, I think it was like chapter 3 or 4, I think, where it was what's his name, the main character, I forgot, where he lies down and he's just like, I am a mushroom, so I'm not an animal, but I don't have leaves, so I don't resemble a plant. And it's a very, okay, it's not entertaining, it's not funny, but like it's the art that's very cute, because he's just like a little chibi form just staring into nothingness. But for context, it's because what the heck is, oh, thank you for the follow, sorry. I was like, I don't know what that sounds like. But basically, they have this like, it's not really a virus. It's like radiation that, yeah, I guess technically radiation's considered a virus. I don't know. Anyways, so there's a sickness that goes around, and it's kind of apocalyptic-esque story. Post-apocalyptic? No, definitely in the middle of the apocalypse. Well, kind of more at the end, because, well, what do we consider as post-apocalyptic? Like, do we consider post-apocalyptic as in, like, the apocalypse already happened and we're, like, we've already established, like, a society afterwards? Even though the apocalypse technically is still happening on the outside? Or, like, do we consider post-apocalyptic as in, like, everything's done? Like, probably no more zombies and shit. I don't know. But anyways, so it's a some part of the apocalypse type story. Definitely not like Dam of the Forest, which is very much a post-apocalyptic one. But yeah, so like all the animals and plants are like infected, I believe, by the radiation poisoning thing, and like they try to kill people, obviously, because what else would you do? As a plant, you have nothing else to do. And so they're able to scan it, but because a mushroom is a fungi and not like a plant or an animal, technically speaking, the little mushroom's like, oh, will I be caught? He doesn't end up getting caught by the, like, people, though, so it's okay. My cute little mushroom survives another day. Oh, also here's another Chinese one that I read. The translations are always a little off for the Chinese ones because there's a lot of weird nuances in the language that's very hard to translate directly. In which this is a idol story, so both characters are like idols and stuff. Hold on. I think I'm done. I'm just gonna go draw while I continue the yap. Anyway, so both of the characters like idols, and they're both, and one of them likes the other guy, kind of, but he doesn't know that yet, because obviously he doesn't know that yet. Fucking loser. And so he's, like, searching the ship of him and the other guy up on Weibo, I think. But obviously, if you end up on, like, a site for fans, you're gonna end up with, like, shit like the omegaverse. And he's like, pheromones? What are pheromones? Isn't Omega a watch brand? And it's very cute. He's very silly. And then there's this other part where he accidentally messages the other guy, I am the gay. As in, he accidentally wrote the typo wrong. He accidentally made a typo in the story. or sorry, in the message, because basically the sound for gay and also notice are the exact same. So he meant to say like, oh, there's a notice, but he accidentally typed I am the gay, and then and then afterwards he had to like quickly respond, that was a typo, it's notice, not gay. Sexual orientation might be the one and only thing I have to follow societal norms in. Except I don't think so. The one girl I dated showed me the cursed knowledge of the omegaverse. As she should have. She's doing the Lord's work, y'all. She's doing it. I support her and her I support her and her endeavors. Yeah. I told my friends what the omegaverse was, and then they started fighting over who's the alpha. By the way, I still don't know if we ever decided on which one of us is the alpha. I decided to not engage in that conversation because I know these fuckers are gonna immediately vote me as an omega, because I always get voted as an omega. Anyways, no matter which fucking place I'm in, sucks to be me, I guess. But yeah. So, you know, there's stuff that happens. Do you know what an omega is? I was like, omega? Girl, don't even. I don't know what happened. I was like, I think I was talking about fan fiction, because my friends are into fan fiction. They just never read the omegaverse, and I was like shocked by that. So obviously, like a great friend, I taught them the omegaverse, except my knowledge was inaccurate because I didn't read enough omegaverses at the time, so it was like I didn't have exactly the correct terminology for it, because the thing is, the omegaverse on Wattpad and the omegaverse on AO3 there's like a different culture there, and obviously omegaverse also evolves with time. I'm not insane, by the way. But yeah, so I was trying to explain that, like, okay, so there's like the omegaverse, like, cause, okay, some of the ones that I've read, they have like more than just the alpha, beta, and omega. Sometimes they always get like the enigma, which is one of the extra ones you can throw in. But then if you're really, really fancy, they have like these other ones, which are also other Greek alphabets, letter stuffs. I don't really remember them. But obviously, you don't really read those ones often because it's not like a thing around most omegaverse stories. Because, you know, it's just not like as normalized as the omega, like the regular stuff. And then I was trying to explain it to them without delving into the whole like heat rut cycle thing. So it was a very strange experience, I think, for them, not as much for me. But yeah, I because the thing is, I was also I actually had to explain the omegaverse so many times that I ended up making a copy paste of what the omegaverse was. So that every time some motherfucker asks me about it, I just send them a copy paste description of the omegaverse. And I don't know what to do about that. But yeah. I have an unnecessary amount of knowledge on the omegaverse. And I think we should all know a little less about each other. By that I mean I'm the one oversharing, but it's okay. But yeah, it was very strange. Okay, wait, let me pull up my old copy paste. I still have it. Also, I really need like a just chatting room. Okay, whatever, that's a future problem. I will deal with that when we cross that bridge. It should be in the, oh, this is a gay cult. It's in here somewhere. Hold on. Ah, here it is. Okay. Okay. Hierarchy, basically omegas, betas are just normal humans. Alphas. Okay, because I read a lot of these specific, like, very stereotypical omegaverses, and I wasn't delving into the unconventional dynamics of alpha x alpha or omega x omega, or like beta omega, alpha beta. It's stuff like that, right? So hydrate. So basically, that meant that I had a very specific understanding of the omegaverse. That, like, you know, it didn't correlate to all omegaverses. You were between a beta and omega. Yeah, sorry, a beta and alpha. Okay, cool. Well, you can do this cool thing called the Omegaverse quiz on the internet if you really want to. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna change, oh shit. I forgot to change my category from just chatting, from art, okay, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna change the title of this, just so that people don't join and then think that I'm, like, doing art technique. Well, I'm still gonna be drawing, I think, while explaining this, but you just gotta, like, make it a little bit more obvious than this just chatting stream. What do you want me to draw? Go do crime? What? No. Like the doodle item here is, like, you just tell me something to draw and I just draw it for shits and giggles. No, ignore the sketch pad. If you have anything specific you want me to draw, I usually don't know what to do. So if I get free reign, I just end up doing, like, the stupid myself. Car, cat. Okay, well. Let's do a more goobery cat. Let's do this. Wow, I've never drawn a cat like this before. Crazy. Crazy what pure vibes can do to you. This is definitely not how cats sit, by the way, from what I'm aware of. Not that I have a cat, so I wouldn't really know, but... Anyways, cat. Gorgeous. Anyways, moving on. Here, let me pull up my omegaverse pin. Oh, that's me, voicing, the Romeo and Juliet. Okay, we're gonna ignore that. Where's my omegaverse copy paste? This is actually so tragic. No, that's too household life and dignity. Sure, okay, what? No, hold on. Why can I not find it? When did I post this? 21/6/06. Okay, so. Okay. It should be in here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Cool. It's a very long message, by the way. Yeah, no. Cats confuse me. It's okay. So I'm going to ignore the weird secondary pairing that I did at one point. Also, this is my friend's character. By that I mean I designed it for her because she wanted a character, and I was like, well, I'm bored, so why not? So I'm just gonna clean it up for her. Just ignore this. So we're gonna work on this while we yap about the Omegaverse. Nicole, please don't kill me. XOXO, I love you. She probably doesn't watch these, thank God. But anyways, I said, okay. This is a stupid thing to explain. Fuck you. Okay, back to whatever the fuck this is. Alphas are usually thought of more powerful as the average human. Again, this is debatable, and a lot of these things depend on the fic that you're reading. Because some stories, they have it so that the alpha is like, well, actually, I have seen omegaverse stories where the omegas are the ones who are actually rule like the world in like so it's like a matriarchy instead of a patriarchy, which is the regular default standard for the omegaverse. Um, anyways, uh, so I said the omega alphas are thought of as to be more powerful than the average human. They have this period called ruts. And then I said, which is basically them just being horny 24/7. But also they have anger issues. Because that is also a thing that happens for some reason. I don't know why. In a lot of Omegaverse stories, during their ruts, they're very territorial creatures. Once again, if you know anything about the Omegaverse, you will know that it was created, one, because of fuck or die forums on the internet. There are specifically fuck or die like type of tropes from kink forums on the internet way back when. Am I really explaining an Omegaverse history to y'all? I'm sorry. Omegas are supposed to go to the north next month. What? I'm confuzzled. Hold on, let me cue some more songs just so we get some background music while I explain the Omegaverse. Really? Is that mic really that long? Okay, well. K66. Oh shit. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on. This is... My music stuff is not working right now. I'm for context, I am queuing just like classical music because I don't want to think right now, and it's easier than... What the fuck? Seriously? Okay, well. Was it? 2 arabesques. Number 1. 2 pieces. Oh, 40 sign notice. Nutcracker, waltz, flowers. Anyways, omegas, they're usually smaller and more gentle. I mean, like, debatably, I feel like sometimes, it depends on the story, because there's like some stories where they most of the time omegas are considered like much more small, gentle, whatever the fuck. But also at the same time, it's like, wait, hold on. First movement. I hate queuing classical music. It's just too much work for me to type. That's cute. Okay, well, good enough. Anyways, yeah, but a lot of Omegaverse like stories, especially in like the like the Korean BL webtoon omegaverse stories, a lot of them have characters have the omega actually be like a non stereotypical omega. So sometimes they would have them like somebody who looks more like an alpha or more like just like a regular beta, but is actually an omega, and I don't know, insecurities or some shit usually happen at one point. So that's what we just like to call just the buff omegas in stories, because that is also a thing that exists. But then there's also other things like how do I explain these? Okay, so there's those type of omegas, and then there's like the standard omega, who are the really weak, soft, weak omegas. Yeah. And then there's also, okay, so back to my weird little list of things that I wrote that I should probably be checked on for writing all this shit. But it's okay. I don't even worry about it too much. Shrek and Dora? Oh, right. I was on a really weird part of the internet at one point. Anyways, no, I don't want the Nick Wilde fic. Okay. So I said, also omegas, they're usually thought of small and weak, but in the case of a YN story, she is either a strong omega or a strong alpha that hashtag doesn't need another person. Doesn't need an like if she will be like an independent omega who does not need an alpha, but then she meets her soulmate or some bullshit. That's what happens in a lot of like those self-insert stories. Also, in case you're wondering about how I was writing this, back when I was trying to explain to my friends, I wrote, oh, omegas go in heat every month, which y'all can guess what it is. And like, no, why the fuck are you explaining it? Okay, you fucking idiot. Okay, so ignoring that, basically, I would have conversations. I have a habit whenever I type, a lot to myself, where I would basically have a conversation with myself. So sometimes if you see me message, I will be like, what the fuck are you saying? But it's just basically just me talking to myself. So, you know, secondhand embarrassment pretty much. But it's very strange version of it. This music is so great for this topic that we're talking about. This is giving me joy. Anyways, so I was like, okay, ignoring that, omegas also do this thing called nesting, which is usually during their heat. This part, the usually during the heat, can be, a lot of these things can be altered based off of the story that we're talking about, pretty much. Like depending on the author's whims, because the omegaverse, there's not too many rules with it, generally speaking. Anyways, so I said I said omegas do this thing called nesting, which is when they're on their heat, which is pretty much just stealing things that smell like their alpha. Also known as things that have the pheromones of their alpha because it soothes them. It's basically like getting a hot like a, I don't know, what's it called, like a hand warmer is not the right word, a heat pack or something during your period when you're like cramping all the time and you're dying. It's kind of like that, but like the omegaverse where you steal people's clothes. Yes, this is truly what I do in my life. I'm gonna send this one. Anyways, and then I said, oh my god, sorry, this really dated, my vocabulary at the time. You know what I wrote? I wrote, and then they go and become a useless bean afterwards. And I'm like, Holy shit, no fucking way I unironically use the word, like, bean to describe somebody. But I guess I did because I'm fucking stupid. But it is okay. Anyways. Oh, I also said, also Omega and Alpha have scent glands to smell each other out. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Oh, yes, they could be of any gender. Yes, MPEG does exist in omegaverse. Does anybody want me to explain what slick and nodding is? Yeah. And then, okay, so that is actually really, so now that I have had more exposure to the omegaverse. Since I've had more exposure to the omegaverse, I have a lot more to say than that. So first of all, a little bit about the history of the omegaverse. It started on these oh, fuck you. Okay, so the omegaverse originally started from these kink forums. I don't know exactly on what. It's probably like Quotev or some shit. And basically at that point, there wasn't like a thing called the omegaverse yet. It was just like, it was more like establishing the tropes in the story. So one of the things in the omegaverse that really makes it the omegaverse is the fact that basically it very obviously started out as a erotica thing, because one of the main things about it is that during their heat / their rut, the omega and the alpha are unexplainably horny. And thankfully in most of these stories, they usually only come about like once a year. Or like every 6 months, or like maybe even every 3 months, but it's not like a monthly thing like how periods are for like the guys, should I tag this as an NSFW conversation? Okay, whatever. Probably not. It's the omegaverse. I'm not going too explicit with it. Right? I don't know. Somebody tell me if I need to tag this. But yeah, so because one of the main things is the fact that they get like inexplainably horny and they have to like seek each other out so that they can become unhorny. It's a result of the fact that it originally was born from these like this like new type of kink thing, like that's like called fuck or die, which is very self-explanatory on as to what it was for and what happens in it. It's very much in the name. So yeah, so that's like one part of it. And then I believe at one point, it's because usually in those stories you have to kind of like have a reason as to why this trope happens. So sometimes it is like a curse situation. Sometimes it could be like an aphrodisiac. You know, like very, or maybe people just want to see their characters bang. It doesn't really matter. I respect y'all, I guess. But because of that, there was, and then this cool thing got published. It's the thing, it's that one what is it? The study on wolves in captivity by who is it? Which motherfucker wrote it? By David Mech, I believe. Yes. So this guy, David Mech, he was the one who originally did the study on wolves and their behavior, which is where he published a research paper being like, okay, so there's a thing called the omega in wolves who lead the whole pack, right? But afterwards, I believe he actually found out that, oh, this data is incorrect and this only applies to wolves in captivity. So at that point, he actually later came out and be like, hey, so my study is actually really wrong and you guys should not listen to this. But at that point, the omegaverse already took off. Like, nobody gives a shit about it. Like, we were just rolling with this fucking trope. So basically we had like this trope where combined the kink board as well as the wolves in captivity study. And then they were like, okay, so what if humans also had like an alpha, beta, omega situation going on? Like, what if we also had an alpha? And so that is where, so in a lot of these omegaverse stories, obviously we still have the regular primary genders, or sexes, I guess. Yeah, sex is definitely the correct term for it. Like, it's like the biological sex of male and female, but you also get, because of it, things like being an alpha male or an alpha female, or like a beta male, beta female, you know, all that stuff. And obviously, as we all know, there's a chart on who can get impregnate who in the Omega. Yeah, hold on. I'm taking this stream. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I definitely have to get like a content label onto this stream. Where is it? Sexual themes. Let's just put that in there. Okay, sorry about that. I feel like people are just joining this and then just listening to me talk about this, and I'm like, yeah, I should definitely probably have a tag on this stream. But anyways, I tagged it already. But yeah, so we had these things in the Omegaverse, where now there's this whole, it was a supernatural fandom. As many things go in fandom, if something happens that is, if there's a trope that exists, yeah, you got your great choices of Star Trek, Supernatural, and Harry Potter. It's one of those fuckers that is the culprit. And this time, it was Supernatural that coined the term the Omegaverse. There have been, like, unofficial, not called Omegaverse stories that were published before the term Omegaverse was coined in the Supernatural fandom. But yeah, so that's like generally speaking, kind of the origins of the Omegaverse. To an extent. But anyways, back to how the Omegaverse works. So first of all, gotta love Mpreg. There are people who draw like anatomy charts on how logically a man would get pregnant. Sorry, I'm currently rethinking my life decisions right now. I'm like severely rethinking my life decisions. Why am I like this? What the fuck is wrong with me? Well, okay, well, it's okay. Anyways, give me a second. I just need to send some stuff. Oopsies, not this. I mean, where's my stream pin? I don't remember. Where was I in the Omegaverse? I was talking about something. Mpreg? I guess so. Hold on. Okay, well, so there are people who draw out charts as to how Mpreg work, which I don't know if you're interested in it. Probably not. But it's like I've seen. Okay, so the main graphic, which I will not be showing on here, of the Omegaverse thing that's going on right now, like the Omegaverse, like how Mpreg works. I believe the original drawing was from DeviantArt because, yeah, all things end up in DeviantArt. But because like the Omegaverse, there's obviously the thing of a like Omega male. We have to figure out how a man would get pregnant. How they would give birth to their hypothetical child. So obviously, we got to make diagrams of it. So there is a diagram that you can look up about it. And that's like the one that is usually referenced. Like if you know anything about the Omegaverse, like, or if you read anything about the Omegaverse, usually the anatomy comes from that. So if there is anything about giving birth in the story, it is usually referring, like, usually people will just go with that diagram, unless there are a couple of stories where the Omega can have like female genitalia. So instead of having like they could be like intersex Omegas. Like that's usually that is a small part of Omegaverse fiction, as to how men can give birth, technically. But most of them, they do refer to the diagram of basically babies being shitted out. Yeah, this is what I'm doing in my life. Okay, well, crazy. Oh my god, I hope Nicole does not watch this. I actually feel so bad for her if she watches me work on her a little design as I yap about the Omegaverse. Nah, we're good. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. We'll just do it like this. Anyways, what else? What else do I? Oh, right. So intersex Omegas exist. Then there's. Yeah, I'm explaining the history of the Omegaverse. Anyways, so the Omegaverse, at one point there was also a lawsuit over it. But we can. Yes. Shocking, I'm a freak. Yeah, the lawsuit over the Omegaverse. Like, the trope of the Omegaverse. So basically, at this point in time, the Omegaverse was still kind of, like, a little bit underground-esque type of thing. In, like, the well, I guess it was gaining traction. Let's just say that. But at this point, there was these, these two authors. I don't remember their names. I could Google them, but I don't really know. I believe Lauren Ellis has a video on it. But it's these two authors, they wrote straight Omegaverse, which, by the way, I don't see the point of. Me personally, if you're going to make an Omega and an Alpha, can we at the very least make the woman the Alpha? Like, I don't want a female Omega x male Alpha romance. That shit is so boring. Because, anyways, but basically, they published these two novels. So these two authors, they published their own novels separately, which both of them used the Omegaverse as it's so weird, as a thing. So I believe they both made Omegaverse like straight romances. And then one of them decided to sue the other one, being like, you stole my idea of the Omegaverse. Even though, technically speaking, none of them own the idea of the Omegaverse, because the Omegaverse was started on fandom forums, like fanfiction forums. But there was this whole lawsuit over it, and I believe that in the end they just decided that the Omegaverse cannot be copyrighted, because no shit, they can't. A trope can't be copyrighted. And yeah, it was very strange. It like got weirdly popular, and I think that's how a lot of people found out about the Omegaverse back in the day. Like outside of like the fanfiction sphere, which was pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know how both of those authors are doing now. Hopefully they've stopped trying to copyright the Omegaverse, but I guess we'll never know. But yeah, it's basically, in my opinion, like, trying to sue somebody for the Omegaverse is the same as, like, trying to sue people for, like, oh, I wrote a CEO, male character, X, poor female lead, romance, and now I own the trope. Or I made a story about the, I don't fucking know, like, mafia boss trope, therefore I own the trope. And it's like that type of thing you can't really copyright. Especially since it didn't, like, it wasn't even your IP in the first place. At the very least, it would be like some random ass person on the Supernatural forum who would own the IP. But yeah. It's always Supernatural, by the way. But yeah, so there's that part of the Omegaverse that exists. That's a great part of Omegaverse history. No, literally. Like Regina George, like we only wear pink. We only wear pants on Wednesdays, like type of shit. It's like, okay, now I'm doing the pants on Wednesday thing. Now she's gonna sue me. Like it's very stupid. It's a very stupid lawsuit. I think everybody really thought it was a very stupid lawsuit as well. But yeah, gotta love the Omegaverse, right? Right? We all love it? Okay, cool. Anyways, so on to just I'm trying to explain as much as I can, because traumatizing people is my passion, or my prison. I haven't decided on which one it is. But anyways, so another thing about the Omegaverse, I know way too much about it, is obviously like who can get who pregnant, because this is important. Says nobody ever, by the way. So first of all, as we all know, the alphas can get the omegas pregnant. But then you have the question of what about the betas? So this part depends severely on the type of story that we're talking about. So first of all, betas in themselves, because they're not really used too often a lot in Omegaverse stories, because they're kind of just like regular people, they're a little bit more flexible with a lot of the things that they can do. Yes, betas, actually technically the whole Omegaverse is a very author to author like type of thing, but there's usually kind of a general idea of what happens, like a very unspoken kind of agreement between like how the trope works, you know what I mean? So some stories, betas cannot smell pheromones. Pheromones are basically like the scent of the omegas and the alphas that attract each other to them. My friend who's a model I'm working on, she's like, nice, I would watch it, but I have I have an 8:30 a.m. class tomorrow. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'm working on your model on this stream, so don't worry about it. But yeah, so betas, sometimes they have the ability to smell pheromones. Sometimes they don't, and they're just literally regular people, and therefore they cannot detect who an alpha is and who is not. But usually in the instances of betas having like a scent, they would have it much more faint than an alpha or an omega. So instead of being able to instead of having like a very strong scent, like the alpha or the omega, a beta would usually be considered having like a more calming scent, and usually they're considered more of a like a peacemaker between the alpha and the omega. I don't know, but you're so welcome for this. No, cursed knowledge, cursed info of the Omegaverse. Anyways, so depending on the story that you're reading, obviously, the beta may or may not have a relevant role in it. So I believe in a lot of like the more if you are on Wattpad, right? Usually, in my opinion, from what I've seen, there's been much more like the I've seen back in the day, not anymore. I haven't been on Wattpad in a while, and I plan to keep it that way. But like at one point, like I remember it was pretty popular to have like just the betas as like scentless humans, like regular humans. Also forgot to mention, depending on which era of the Omegaverse like stories you're reading, they may or may not also have animal ears. But that is also a case by case basis. Because I believe in older omegaverse stories, most of the like alpha omegas and stuff, they have like wolf features. Because it's technically, if you think about it, it's just wolf porn, right? It's glorified wolf porn in human form. But yeah, so sometimes you would have but nowadays most omegaverses, it's more like the omegaverse, like the trope of like the pheromone scenting, and also the general dynamics of it, maybe the social structure, but less animal ears, much less animal ears than what it used to be. Yeah, so, like, on Wattpad, I remember when I read a couple of the megaverses on there before, I always saw them with the fucking animal ears, and I was like, why are we doing that? But yeah, like, so that's why I think that's probably why my friends call me a furry. Anyways, not the point. But yeah, so there was that, and then what else about the omegaverse? Oh yeah, I need to stop deterring the conversation from betas. They're basically like the neglected middle child. Anyways, but betas are, I feel like, kind of interesting sometimes. But okay, so impregnation chart, the male alpha can impregnate a female alpha if they need to, but also sometimes depends on the story. But usually they're able to. Female alpha can't impregnate a male alpha. And omega can be impregnated by fucking a female omega can be impregnated by everybody. Like a male omega, and well, sometimes a male omega, actually depends. Sometimes they make it so that the male omegas are basically infertile. Like they cannot stick their dick into anybody. There's a reason why I tagged this as a sexual themes one today. But yeah, so the male omega can impregnate the female omega most of the time. It's very hard. The male alpha can be impregnated by everybody except the female omega, and debatably and most of the time also the female beta. And female betas can sometimes also be impregnated by omegas, like the male omega. Male betas can be impregnated by the alphas, and I think that's it. And then female betas can also get impregnated by all the alphas, and also sometimes the male omega. The male alpha cannot get impregnated unless we have this fourth character trope thing called an enigma, I believe is the term for it. In which they are basically like overly powerful alphas. Like they're just like a step above the alphas, so they can impregnate everybody on this list. No matter the gender. Don't you love educational nights with me? This is what you guys get. This is my form of education. Please don't block me. Please don't unfollow me. Anyways. And then what else is there? Yeah, I'm aware. To be fair, nothing is stopping you from clicking out. There's literally, you are trapped here by your own decisions. But it is very funny to watch. Sorry, I'm trying to get this part in. Can you tell that I don't know how to draw like metal? Okay, cool. Hope so. Hopefully you can. It should actually be more of this shape. I don't know what's going on here in this part of the drawing, but it's okay. Actually, does it matter? Do you need legs? Alright, fine. Let's do this. Okay, good enough. That works. Anyways, what else? Okay, so there's also depending on the story. So instead now, okay, so at one point I remember seeing there was like people would add like a fourth and fifth gender called like deltas and gammas, I believe, in which those are like basically one of them, I believe it was deltas that are like slightly, they're basically betas that lean towards omega-ness. So there's like, they're basically like, they have some omega tropes, some omega features and stuff, but they're mostly like still like a beta. Like that, this was when like betas not having a scent and just being regular ass humans was popular. But now, now those genders are like not part of the story anymore most of the time. I don't think I've ever seen that in like, I haven't seen that in a while. Because now there's this cool thing called recessive and dominant alphas and omegas. So, because of course we're making this more and more complicated, right? So so the recessive omega is okay, so the recessive omega is actually like an omega that doesn't display omega traits often. It's a very like repressed version of being an omega, in which sometimes they might have like inconsistent heats, or they might have no scent, or their scent is very faint, and stuff like that, which is a thing for like these omegas, these recessive omegas. But then there's the dominant omegas, which they have like stronger scents, and they're basically like, in those stories, the dominant of both species, even like the dominant omega is the one that usually they're like people are seeking after for marriage and stuff. So usually in those like web stories, the recessive omega will be the main character, because obviously we're making the most oppressed one the main character in stories. That's the thing that happens. God, I wish there was like a damage bar for you guys, because it would be really funny if I just watch y'all slowly lose health. Anyways, so there's the recessive omega, which are they can usually pass off as a beta in these stories. So they usually live a good chunk of their life either pretending like they're not a recessive omega, or pretending to be like a beta. And oh yeah, sure, okay. Anyways, so recessive omegas, they also are usually, they're not prone to pregnancy because of their recessive I'm gonna kill myself. Because of their like recessive, I feel like saying genes, but then that's not technically what a recessive gene is in like biology and stuff, whatever. Omegaverse smut fixed have I been reading. So technically it doesn't have to be smut fixed. I've read a lot of Omegaverse, and there's actually a lot where they are not smut fixed. However, because the smut is one of the reasons why the Omegaverse exists, is why I'm talking about it a lot. Oh my god, Pookie! Do you like, okay, wait, I'm working on your model right now. We're talking about the Omegaverse. Hi, okay, don't you have like a class tomorrow? Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm talking about the recessive and dominant omegas and alphas. Okay, so the dominant alphas can work very similarly to an enigma in this case. So instead of having the enigma, delta, and gamma like classes in the Omegaverse, now we only have to have omega, beta, and alpha, in which instead of classifying those as separate, we have the recessive omega and the dominant omega, and sometimes we can have the regular omega, but sometimes it is just recessive and dominant. And then it was same with alpha, it's like pretty much the same thing. No, they think it's horny because I'm talking about the Omegaverse. Even though technically speaking, the Omegaverse is not all horny, even though it did start on Fuck or Die fandom forum, kink forums. Um, I think the funny part is just seeing my cute little model talking about this. Very, very kawaii. Anyways. It's not like I've never it's not like I don't have that copy paste of the Omegaverse. Remember the roleplay channel we had? I think I was tame. Anyways, moving on from that. Yeah, you are too sleep deprived for this. Go EP. Unlike you, I'm gonna continue torturing people. Yeah, I know you avoided it like the plague. I just joined because I thought it was really entertaining to watch Ajax be Ajax. And now you're trapped into the Omegaverse conversation. You're so not welcome. Anyways, so okay, so usually in the stories where the the recessive omegas exist, the recessive omegas are actually the ones for some reason in stories like what's it called? What was it? Sorry, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh right. Kiss Me If You Can? No. Is it Kill Me If You Can or Kiss Me If You Can? I think it's Kill Me If You Can. Give me a second. Let me double check that. I believe it's Kill Me If You Can. Oh no, it's Kiss Me If You Can. Sorry, Kill Me If You Can is a different one. Kiss Me If You Can, I believe that universe they have the recessive and dominant like omega stuff. Sometimes depending on the story, I have seen, I don't remember which one. Was it December or like something where they have recessive omegas as like a oppressed, well obviously they're oppressed class, they're omegas, but they would use them specifically for things like prostitution because of the fact that they don't get pregnant. So there's a very obvious class system with it, which those ones are not fun to read, I will say. They're very, yes, so that's a thing that exists. And then usually those ones, they have like the dominant alphas and stuff. Anyways, going on, and that's those type of stories. And then there's also other ones like it's actually not Kiss Me If You Can. Kiss Me If You Can, Chase is a dominant alpha, but he doesn't do anything about it. He just kind of exists. There was this one, I can't remember the name of it though. Okay, whatever. I read it at one point. I read a lot of the Omegaverse. Okay, and then the recessive alpha, you actually don't see that one come up a lot in stories. It's usually a recessive omega in stories. So I don't actually know too much about the recessive alpha as a trope. I just think they're just like slightly less powerful alphas. That's pretty much it. But usually they still enjoy the same privileges as regular alphas to an extent. Like the irregular / dominant alphas. And most most recessive alphas don't go out of their way to like hide the fact that they're a recessive alpha. As opposed to the recessive omega, which usually those ones, they do try to hide the fact that they're a recessive omega or an omega in general. And then there's also, what else? There's a lot with the Omegaverse. It's a very, very large genre on fan fiction sites. And also just general BL sphere, because the people want the guys to get pregnant. And if you can't do that in real life, you gotta invent a universe where they can get pregnant. I plead the fifth. Okay, moving on. What do you mean, sadly, it's breached into it? It's not our fault. The Omegaverse is getting gentrified, okay? Like, fuck off. Anyways. I'm half kidding about that, though, but some people, they do actually are having, like, problems with, like, certain... I don't really like how some fandoms function with, like, the Omegaverse and stuff, the way they talk about it, but whatever. Okay, Okay, well, that's what AO3 filters are for, okay? Like, if you don't want to read the Omegaverse, filter the Omegaverse out. Like, if you don't want to read about your I don't know what your fandom is, I'm gonna assume it's probably like VTubers or something, because I've seen you post a lot about that. If you don't want to see your Oshis get banged, then don't read it. You know, like, you just gotta filter that shit out. And it is okay. Yeah, exactly. It's great. But now the Omegaverse has become more popular, so it's like kind of more fun, for me at least. Because now we've also expanded on the Omegaverse. Oh yeah, that happens a lot too. I've read a couple of those before. Not as fan fiction, but as like BL mangas or manhwas, where like you read it and you're like, oh, how did we get there? But yeah, that's a thing that happens. No, literally, it's like if you already read it, you might as well just finish it. There's this one, I can't remember what it was called. I swear to God, it had something to do with trees and shit. But that was weird. Very odd things to read on the internet. I love the internet. It is so weird. Also, y'all can't really judge it. Anyways, it's a lot of things you can just filter out. Thankfully on like AO3 and stuff. So if you don't want to read it, you just filter it. I just don't have the energy to filter most of the time. So a lot of the times when I enter, like when I'm looking for fanfics, I filter under English and complete, and that's it. That's tragic. Yeah, usually art authors will tag things as the Omegaverse and stuff, thankfully. Or at the very least, you could just filter out like the character name Omega or character name Alpha, and usually those will filter most of them out. But it's okay. Or you can filter out specifically like terms in the Omegaverse, like nodding or nesting or like stuff like that. Or like heats and stuff. You can, if you filter those out, those usually are also tagged. If there's any smut in it, most people, they do tag the stuff that happens in the story. Most of the time. Yeah, but you know, my favorite part of being on AO3 is being like, hey, I wonder what this word means. And then she was never heard of from again. If you know, you know. The freak factor will not be activated because there's this, okay, so even if an Omega goes into heat in families, unless specifically the author of the story is a freak and they specifically want the incest part, most stories do not have alphas and stuff in their family react to the Omega, because there's also this cool concept called pack bonds, which I totally forgot to touch on. So the packs are basically, it's basically forming found families with like people, and directly related families do not get triggered by each other's heat and rut cycles. They usually, like, they're aware of it because they can smell it on them, but most of the time it's more in the sense that like the alpha will become very protective of the Omega instead of wanting to bang the Omega, and the Omega at the same time also doesn't want to fuck their sibling or their family, you know what I like, or their parents, you know, because that's like a normal thing. So it's kind of, it's like, is it weird to hear it come out of my mouth? I feel like that's kind of normal. Was it not? Okay, well, that's strange. Anyways, but yeah, so generally speaking, the Omegas, and like family, directly, blood-related family, do not get triggered by each other's heat and rut cycles. That is the general rule of thumb here. Most of the time, people don't say that, but like it's very obvious because in stories where the character does have a sibling, it's like usually their sibling will come by and like drop off some snacks or something whenever they're like in heat or something like that. But it's definitely not like nothing freaky going on between the family. But yeah. Also, in case you guys care, a lot of the omegaverse that I'm talking about, I'm compiling basically like a general list based off of like all the types of fandoms that I've been in. So like in like specific things, like if you're into a K-pop omegaverse, they have much more specific tropes that are often used, as opposed to, let's say, like the ones in BLs, or like the ones in like the Japanese ones are also very specific as well. Or like different fandoms, like if the source media is Korean, they have like specific types of tropes that they would often use, that like people who are into Chinese BLs would not use, and stuff like that. I don't know which one of them likes mpreg the most though, so we'll ignore that. Omegaverse mentioned once a week in this chat. Yeah, I love her tweaking. It's okay. It's okay. Anyways. I really don't care. You are aware that the person who made AO3 was like a Wincest shipper. Like that was like that's the reason why they made AO3. So it's like, you know, it doesn't really matter that much to me. It's fuck. It's between, okay, it's in the Supernatural fandom, and it's between Sam and Dean Winchester. Like they're siblings. They're brothers. And there is a shitload of fanfics of them just going at it. Because, yeah, AO3 was started by a Wincest shipper, because a lot of like things like fanfiction.net and like Quoteof and stuff like that, they're all they have like restrictions against certain media that can be published on there, and that's why AO3 was made, so that they can basically kind of publish whatever they want to, no matter how fucked up it was. But yeah, so generally speaking, like AO3 was started by people who liked incest, so it is a weird ass platform anyways. And it truly just comes with the thing. It's, well, I don't know. People, I don't know why people ship that. I don't personally care too much about it either, because I'm like, people could just like whatever they want. Like, as long as it doesn't like affect anybody in the real world, it doesn't really matter to me. I think that's just my attitude towards fandom though. I'm like, okay, well, do whatever the hell you guys want. And also it's like you could block things, so it's like not too big of an issue. King shaming, you'll always king shame. Okay, it's okay. But yeah, there's some interesting things that people see. Like, yeah, exactly, like things that I have stuff that I dislike and stuff, but like I don't care what other people like as much. Also, I'm trying to add more songs to this, but I don't know what to add, so if anybody would like to add stuff, that'd be very helpful. Fair, I'm gonna be side-eyeing trashing. Yeah, it's okay. I just don't engage in it, and then usually they get off your TL. Yeah. It's an interesting place to be, I will not lie. But yeah, certain fandoms definitely have much more like incest and like weird shit than others. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't really know though. Yeah, anyways. But yeah, the omegaverse is a interesting thing. Generally speaking, though, most people do not write incest into their omegaverse. I think that's most of the time. And then, okay, anyways, so I was talking about pack bonds at one point. So basically, pack bonds are like it's basically like the found family trope, in like omegaverse, where like you can if you and usually I actually feel. So I see this happen mostly in K-pop fan fiction, as opposed to any other type of fandoms that I'm in, where they have like it so that like maybe like it's like, okay, it's basically like a friend group, or I guess idol group in some of these cases, where like they kind of form a bond so that they're kind of protecting each other, question mark. I don't really know how to explain it. Well, it's definitely not the coffin of Andy and Lele. Cause that, yeah, anyways. Or maybe it is, I don't know. I'm trying to fix this up right now, and I'm failing. Sawi Boogie. Yeah. Anyways, so it's a very, I don't really know how to explain pack bonds, because I haven't read one with those in a while, like genuinely in a long time. But usually speaking, they're just kind of like a friendship group, and they help each other out with like their heats and ruts, not in the way of their, well, I mean, usually at one point one of the people in the group will bond with each other, like the main ship and stuff. But like most of the time, it's like if they're gonna help them out, they will just like, I don't know, give them like, the alphas will give like the omegas like their scented clothes so they can make them nest and stuff like that. But it's very tame, I will say, generally speaking, with those ones. So those ones, it's like, if you're looking for a found family trope but you still want to read the omegaverse, that's kind of where you would go. Most people read it for the banging. But yeah, so that's pack bonds. And then generally speaking, there's also these things called claiming mating bites. Guys, am I going insane? Chat. Teen Wolf called it. Yeah, well, whatever. I'm thinking more like NCT, but okay. Don't question it too much. So, okay. So we have the, what was I talking about? Pack bonds, and then it was, my brain's malfunctioning right now. Hold on, claiming and mating bites. So this is basically, okay. Yeah, so think of the soulmate AU. So think of soulmate AUs, right? So in certain, I believe in older omegaverses, nowadays I haven't seen it as much. There's this concept called destined mates, right? So all, as we all know, omegas and alphas have a very prominent scent gland that secretes pheromones. Betas also have a scent gland sometimes, most of the time, depends. Nowadays, most of the time, before sometimes. Where, okay, good night. I'll send this to you when I'm done. Anyways, so there's these things called they're scenting, mating bites, and stuff like that. So basically, a mating bite is like, I believe it started when people had like, was into like the soulmate AUs and stuff. I don't feel like that many people are actually into soulmate AUs anymore, or at least I don't see it posted often anymore. But Some AU, they have like the destined mates. So sometimes in certain omegaverse stories, it's like if you smell like your alpha / your omega, then and you will instantly know that they're like your destined like omega / alpha thing. So it's very destined. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, sucks to be you, I guess. But yeah, so we got the alpha and the omega with the mating bites, and basically it's like usually we would, in most terms they would be considered like called like bonding or something, in which is basically like a declaration of like it's kind of like getting your soul permanently tied down to one person for this lifetime. And so at that point, oh yeah, key their car, yeah. It makes it so that basically the omega and the alpha, don't get triggered by other people's heats and ruts anymore. So whenever they're basically stuck with each other forever. And so if the omega goes into heat, like no other alpha will really be able to help them. And the omega will be very like disgusted by other alpha scents this time, like what if they are claimed. So in those type of stories, in most omegaverse stories, there's actually a thing where the omega wears like a collar, or some type of like collar that covers their like scent glands, so that no unwanted alphas can like claim them without their permission. Which is a very interesting thing that exists. There's also things like scent patches, which would cover up your like pheromones and like stuff. But usually those are just like more used as everyday objects, kind of. And there's also like heat and rut suppressants, which is basically like birth control, except probably without all the side effects. Anyways, what else? Oh, okay. There's also this cool thing where now that the omegaverse is very popular, we have expanded. So now, instead of just the omegaverse, we've also expanded into this cool thing called guideverse, which borrows the concept from omegaverse and also cakeverse. Okay, good night. Be free from my omegaverse rant. Free yourself. Anyways, so so guideverse is basically like the I don't know how to explain it. You know how in Korean manhwas there's like the hunter trope where it's like there's like a gate from the other world and then like people get like powers to like fight against them. It's that, but also with aspects of the omegaverse where each time the power is used on an esper, like an esper is the one that uses power, a guide is the one that well, you'll figure it out. The guide is basically like an omega and the esper is an alpha, but it's very specific in like this type of universe because they're very codependent on each other, because the guide has to so the guide and the esper has to have physical, like perform some type of like physical touch or something, so that the esper will the esper, like every time they use this power they have like a side effect of like slowly losing their mind usually, and a guide is meant to help them control like their insanity and also not make their powers explode. They're basically like nukes. And so the there's like these hunter agencies where they would employ like guides and also assign them to espers, but there's also obviously, because it's like a hunter type story, they also have like different rankings of like power. So like you can get like guides that are like the A, B, C, D, E, F, and also S class, like guides and stuff. And also same with espers. So like usually the espers and the guides, they will be paired up relatively similar like levels of power. So it's like an A class guide would usually be paired with like an A class esper, or even an S class esper at times. Or because usually sometimes like they need multiple S class like one multiple A class like guides for one S class. Hi. So you joined at a very strange time in life. Yeah. Hold on. One of my partners for one of my roommates for this project is messaging right now. Okay, anyways, so back to the omegaverse, because obviously that's more important than whatever the fuck my school's on. Wait, hold on, I need to fix this wing. This wing is weird as fuck. Yeah, the omegaverse, but right now we're talking about the guideverse. By right now, I'm talking about right now I, myself, am traumatizing everybody else in this conversation. We've already went through most of the omegaverse. Tropes, general stuff, you know, the regular stuff that people talk about, related to the omegaverse. Okay, so we have the, we have like the okay, so guides and espers, it's basically like hunter version, like hunter gate type of Korean manhwa version of I'm kicking my brother out. Hi. Cause I'm talking about the omegaverse. Would you like to listen? It's really weird. Okay, well I don't give a shit about your opinion. But yeah. There's that type of omegaverse, and then there's also this new concept that's specifically in so guideverse is very specifically in Korean manhwas and stuff. It's very popular there, but on the other hand we have stuff like cakeverse, which is a very, very niche version of the omegaverse that only exists in like Japanese mangas, which I think only like one of them might have been translated, and that is basically what I like to call cannibalism omegaverse. So instead of having the urge to like bang all the time, there's okay, so we have the cake, the fork, and the regular humans. So the cake doesn't know they're a cake. The cake is basically the equivalent of an omega, while the fork is the equivalent of an alpha. But also in these universes, usually the the forks, who are technically the alphas, are, instead of being like the most powerful in this thing, have the most power in this universe, they actually are usually feared as like serial killers and stuff, because I say it's cannibalism because basically the forks, they can't taste they can't taste the food. So forks know that they're forks because growing up they can't taste any type of food, and the only thing they're able to taste is cake, is a cake. So if a fork gets in contact with a cake, usually they will start like obsessing over them, like yandere style, and usually will end up killing them because like the thing they eat from the cake is like their bodily fluids or like flesh and stuff. So you know, at one point it's like just licking their sweat gets too much. It's not enough, so they end up starting to try to eat them, literally. But yeah, Don't we love how Omegaverse has evolved throughout the years? Don't we love that I'm not traumatizing you guys at all here? This is not a hostage situation. Nuh-uh, the Omegaverse is great. It's very entertaining. Potito. Okay, not on here. I'll drop Potito here. I forgot how Potito looks. But yeah, don't we love my great ability to explain things? Anyways, any questions for the Omegaverse stuff? Or should I free you guys from this hell? I'm pretty sure there's another one that I'm thinking of, but I can't remember. No questions on the Omegaverse. You yearn for freedom. Okay, fine. I will end this I will end this stream then. Thank you for coming and thank you for being willing to be traumatized. I will free you guys from this prison. Okay, bye bye.